What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Convo Show. This is your boy Jay Stokes. I know it's been a minute since our last recording, but I wanted to work on some content. I wanted to really grind, make sure that my purpose was right, make sure that my content matched my purpose, and that when I delivered the messages to you, that it had some meaning to it. So I got some good stuff planned. In this episode right here, I want to talk about how the F up is never planned, people. It's never planned, and oftentimes people misinterpret the F up and how to perceive it. So without further ado, let's start the conversation. The question is about the F up is, what are you going to do about the F up? What are you going to do with it? You have two choices, in my opinion. You have two choices. You can either learn from it or you can run from it. What I want to touch on first is often how we run from it. And what I'm speaking from is a general sense, mostly around your relationships. One-on-one, boyfriend, girlfriend, and these days, girlfriend, man. You have the relationship F up. You have your just everyday life F up. At work, at school, whatever the case is, accidents, car accidents, like literally the F up, that the missight, the misguided correction or anything going on, it's a mess up. But it alters your life, it alters your mindset, it alters your plan. And usually you run from it. And when you run from it, that's really the worst thing that you can do, in my opinion, because there's so much to gain from the F up. There's so much that God wants you to learn from what you just did, what just happened, how you didn't pay attention, the detail that you missed. There's so much you can gain. And often when you run from it, there's no correction for prevention. There's no way for you to realize how to correct this so you can prevent it in the future. So what does that mean, people? Why do we learn history in elementary school? So we don't repeat it. So we don't repeat slavery. So we don't repeat a recession. So we don't repeat wars. How did we get to this point? What got us here? So if you run from it, there's no correction for prevention. So that means it's going to happen again. You're going to see it full circle, and it's going to be a 180, and you're going to say, how did I get back to this point? How did this happen to me again? And how often do we hear that? How did this happen to me? It won't happen to me. That's going to be a show coming soon. It won't be me. This can't happen to me. And that's often what you're going to get. So therefore, nothing is gained when you run from it. Nothing is gained. And it will happen again due to your lack of understanding. You no longer have an understanding of how you got there. What happened? What did you do? How did you attribute to this F up? Who around you attributed to this F up? And what energy, what actions are you doing that are contributing to this F up? Because you have to understand there's an action. Every action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect. So you have to understand the action. You have to understand the cause. What did you do? What part did you play in this? Because if you can't do the blame game, you can't keep pointing the finger at everybody else. This is your life. You only have one. You only have one. So how can you sit there and constantly blame others? Oh, I cheated because she came on to me. Well, what did you do? What did you do to stop it? Oh, I called out of work, but I was sick, so it really shouldn't have been a call out. It really shouldn't have wrote me up. What is the call out policy? What is the attendance policy? Like, there's things in place, people, just because you justify it on your own means. Let me say that again, because I don't think people really understand. Just because you justify something on your own means in your own head does not mean that it goes against the policy or it goes against things that are in place. There's moral clauses in life. There's black and white clauses in life that you have to adhere by. I'm sorry, people. I know they say the millennials, we move at our own beat. We bounce our own drum. But there's things that you have to follow. There's guidelines that are in place for you to follow. And just because you feel like you are more important than that policy, than that black and white, than that person's feelings, than the moral clause in the situation, that doesn't make it right. It doesn't. Your ends doesn't justify your means. And that's why you have a lack of understanding. That's why it's going to happen again. And that's why you have no correction for your prevention. And you will see it again. And it will happen. And you will be frustrated. You will stay in this place where you will remain frustrated. You will remain stagnant. There will be no growth because you don't have understanding of why you keep walking into the same wall. So therefore, you can't adjust your vision. You can't adjust your vision, which is why you keep walking into that wall because you can't see the wall. Because you're so caught up in your own mind thinking that you know everything. You're not seeking his face. You're not understanding him and saying, how can I avoid this wall? I don't want to hit that wall because when I hit it, I got a bloody nose. It hurt a lot. My forehead was pounding. It's like a migraine. Tylenol wouldn't help. Weed wouldn't help. Alcohol wouldn't help. What do I need to do? Pray. Pray for understanding, seek his guidance. So therefore, you can adjust your vision. You can see the people around you that are causing you to make this. You can see your thoughts that are causing you to make the same mistake. You can see your action and your cause that is causing your reaction and your effect. I mean, it's simple mathematics, people. In my opinion, I'm sorry, I have to say that because I'm not a doctor. I don't have a degree. I just felt like this is something that I wanted to do in life. So therefore, you have to understand this is my opinion. But to me, there's some common sense to this. There's some common sense. Every action has a reaction, but you have to understand the action and how you got to the reaction. Just because it says in your mind that you're right does not mean that you're right. But have you compromised? Doesn't mean you have to give in, but compromise. Have some sense of understanding. You understand? So that's running from it. There's nothing to gain from that, people. There's nothing to gain from running from it. So let's go to the next step. Learning from it. You gain so much knowledge of what went wrong when you learn from it. You gain the understanding to prevent it from happening again. You understand, okay, I shouldn't have put my hand on the stove because when I put it on the stove, it's hot. This is a surface that is hot. It can burn my skin. So now I have understanding not to do this again. I shouldn't cheat because when I asked this person to be my girlfriend or wife or whatever the case may be, there was an understanding between us that there's a commitment and it's me and you, not me, you and her, or not me, you and him. It's me and you. So therefore, I shouldn't F up and I shouldn't be around. So if I'm in a committed relationship, most likely I need to surround myself with like being or individuals so I don't stray into, temptation. So you get an F up. If I know that I want to do all these things like plan trips, buy sneakers like for myself, if I like to buy lavish things and do lavish things, I can't constantly be out spending money. So therefore, when my bills come up and I don't properly plan, I now have an F up because now my car note is not paid, but I just showed out for the gram in Barbados or Puerto Rico, whatever. I just showed out, so now I just effed up because I have nothing to fall back on, nothing to bounce back on because I didn't properly plan. It's an F up, or whatever the case may be. There's going to be situations in life where you're gonna make a choice. It's going to make an outcome. And that choice, depending on how much you evaluated it, can cause an F up. But it happens, people. It happens. And when you learn from it, when you sit down and you look, okay, how could I have done that better? What could I have done to make this a better situation? That's when you can now see the trouble coming. Because now when that kind of presents itself again in a different form, you now have the vision, you now have the understanding to discern it and say, I've been here before. I've been here before. If I buy these shoes right now for $250, just because I have it, I'm not going to plan for the future for the rainy day, for when my car needs brakes or a transmission goes or anything, some type of natural disaster in my life, something that might not be big to somebody else, but big to me. I need to make sure that I plan properly. No, this person is coming on to me. I've been in this situation before, so let me keep my distance, keep it friendly, keep it cute, and move forward so I can stay committed and faithful to my girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, or whatever the case may be. Uh, you have to be able to learn from a past situation to discern the next one. And and you also can understand how it impacts others around you. We often think it's my life. I'm gonna make the decision. Well, there's people around you who are invested in you, and with your actions, whether you believe it or not, it affects how they react. It affects their life, especially if you're in a relationship, especially if you have kids, especially if you live at your mama house or you live with your parents. Not that that's a bad thing, but your actions can affect them because they have bills that they're paying. They have things that they're doing based on what you have going on, whatever agreement y'all have. And something as small as that, you can be like, "Well, that's my parents. It doesn't matter." But you're affecting them. Your decisions affect the people who are invested in you. So therefore, don't just be selfish in your mindset. Just think about how your action is a reaction, or what your cause to do whatever you did, how it's going to affect the people around you. So now, when you learn from it, you can discern that, and you can make sure that you keep them in mind. And then also, you can teach. Um, that's something that I can definitely speak to and have a testament on, because when you go through something in life and it's very traumatic for you, please believe that somebody else is going to go through the same thing just like that. And now you're in a position to help them. Whether you want to or not, maybe you don't even realize that you're helping them. There's people that you've probably helped in life just through regular casual conversation, and you didn't realize they were going through that very same thing. So you can now be a vessel, but you don't know you're being a vessel. Because you never learned from it. If you ran from it, you never learned from it to help this person. So now both of you are lost souls because you don't have anything to give. You don't have anything to give to that person. So you can now teach people on how to get through it and how to get past a certain situation. So all this that I'm talking about, it depends on the action that was done and the relationship it was done in, because that is important, and changes the dynamic. So like I brought up a few examples. So like cheating. Um, Let me say this: repetition is not an F up. That is a blatant disrespect for the other person. A F up is when you do it once and that's it. And you effed up. That's when you say, "I effed up. I shouldn't have did that." But I want you to understand that I apologize from the bottom of my heart. And I know that's just words, but what I'm going to do is now I'm not going to put those words into action. So I'm no longer going to say sorry to you. I'm going to put my actions in place to show you that I'm sorry. Because saying sorry was the first step. My action is the next step. Because the more that I do to prove that I'm sorry, not really prove, but just show, it's more validation to you than just keep saying sorry. Because if I keep doing it, it's no longer an F up, it's an intent to hurt you. So, and then if it's just like a regular, like if it's everyday life type F ups, cancer, surgery, broke your leg, car accident, uh, financial woes and issues, those are stepping stones. Because if life was perfect and nothing ever happened, you would have nothing to pray for. You wouldn't have a reason to seek his face. So you have to go through things in life. That's how you get wisdom. That's how you get wise. So like a lot of older folks, they're wise beyond their years because, or they're just wise, period, because they've been through things. They've been through things to help you. I know sometimes it comes up very arrogant because we get to that age, you just don't care. You're ready to say whatever comes. But they've been through things. And when you've been through things, you gain wisdom, you have knowledge, you know how to move, you can move differently, you can show people how to do certain things. So oftentimes, like when rappers, once they get in the business and then they're growing, what do? They bring somebody in and they teach them the way to say, okay, this is what I did. I messed up. I effed up going with this manager. You need to do this independent, go this route. This way you'll be wealthy because if you do it independent this way, like there's different ways you can teach people and you can grow and you can benefit, and that person can benefit. But if you don't go through nothing and you're perfect, then how you? Our God is selfish. So he wants you to seek him. He wants you to pray. So if you don't go through nothing, you won't seek him and you won't have nothing to pray about. So keep that in mind when you're going through life. You be like, God, why this happening to me? You should say, God, what do you want me to learn from this? What are you trying to teach me? I don't complain anymore when things happen. I said, okay, what's my lesson? I'm looking for the lesson. I'm excited. I'm like, all right, I'm upset at the situation, but Lord, what you teaching me? What you trying to show me right now? Why this person acting funny? What you trying to show me? I shouldn't keep him in my life. Okay, okay, I see you. But you have to have a calm. You have to have a different level of understanding of what I'm talking about to really get to that calmness. Because don't believe that I don't get upset. Don't believe that it doesn't bother me. But I have to understand that it's a greater purpose. I'm going to do something for a greater purpose, and you are too. So your F up doesn't make you. What you do after it makes you. How you bounce back from the F up makes you. So what I'm basically trying to do today is get you to have a different outlook on effing up or forgiving that person that effed up. Because often we're like one and done. Like, I'm not wasting my time on him. He done cheated. He done did this. He left my daughter. He didn't pick her up. Or he left this. He did that. He just keep effing up. Well, look at the level look at the level of the incident of the infraction. If it's repetition, then yeah. But if it's a one time thing, if it's a life event, and like all you got to do is talk about it, sit down and talk about it, you can get through it and y'all can learn from it. Sometimes somebody else's f up is for your lesson. People go through things and they learn together. That's the whole part of marriage. That's the whole part of relationships. Raising kids, that's a relationship too. So even work. Hey, let's try this thing at work. If it don't work, guess what? Y'all both learn from it. And when y'all move on in your careers, you have that. You learn from it, you gain it. So now you're better prepared for your next position. Everything has a purpose. So you have to find your purpose. Don't just throw the F up away and say, man, this some BS. I'm about to go. Learn from it. Learn from it and discern from it. Get to your correction for your prevention. And that's all I really got to say, people. Um, Comment, like, and tag. Please spread the word. Start sharing it if you want to. But definitely hit that bell. I will be posting more videos as the weeks come, as the months come. I'm really going to take this thing by storm. And then I'm going to be doing a live show, too. I'm going to start prepping for that. So stay tuned. Comment, like, and tag. Spread the word. Subscribe. Hit the bell. This is Jay Stokes, and I'm out.